Humberto, every 6 years, WAS and EAS get together in a conference like this. What do you hope to get out of this year's conference?
Well, for us, it's very important to advance aquaculture worldwide. And the conference gives us the opportunity to bring the stakeholders together so that, we can establish better networking among them. So you will see here scientists, you will see producers, you will see government officials, students, investors. And we need to have them together to understand each other a bit better. So every time we have a meeting like this, it's the way to try and advance aquaculture by having these people networking and trying to work in the same direction.
You mentioned the need for better communication and a kind of disconnect between industry and politicians and the scientists in this sector. What kind of needs to happen to improve that communication?
Yeah, well, the first thing we need to realize is that every group of stakeholders has a particular set of qualifications and interests. A scientist wants to develop knowledge, right? An investor wants to make money. A producer wants to optimize production. A politician wants to do the right thing for their country, in terms of the problems they are facing. If they need more food and the aquaculture industry can provide that, well, how do I enact proper policy to do that? Nevertheless, the languages are not the same. So we need to be able to translate that so there is common language of aquaculture so that everybody gets in. And communication, it's the biggest challenge there in that regard, because I need solutions for tomorrow if I'm a producer, and I need money for research that is going to produce a solution in 10 years for scientists. So there is a disconnect in terms of time. So we need to work together to say, if there is a problem, can we start solving that with the information we have and then optimize it with new knowledge that is being produced. Now, who's going to be able to enact that benefit, that knowledge we get onto the industry, and that's where students come in, for example. And now, do I have the resources, financial resources, on time to be able to put those new technologies to use in an economically viable way so that I can optimize my production? So, we need to work on translating that. So for that, you need to start talking to each other all the time. The other thing is communication as a whole has changed a lot. COVID taught us that, we could work quite differently. We could work at home and communicate through social media or internet. And now people, the new generation, are expecting that. So we need to get our information from scientists, from technologies, even from producers, on what are the merits of aquaculture to a society that is accustomed to having the information at the tip of the hand. I need a 30-second Facebook clip showing me this, or I need an Instagram communication giving me the advances of the week. So we need to understand that and work accordingly, and we are trying to do that at once.
So Humberto, we've been hearing a lot about the need to increase aquaculture output by something like 50% by 2050 to meet the growing world population. How optimistic are you about that target? What kind of things need to happen?
Yeah, okay. The good thing is we have already technologies available that would allow us to do that if we put that technology to use at the right time, in the right place. For that, what you need is national programs for aquaculture development. You will not develop something unless you have a program for developing. And we need to understand that aquaculture is not a part of other industries. It's not a part of agriculture. It's not a part of fisheries, right? And we tend to be confused that because we go and extract salmon from the ocean and we produce salmon from a farm, we're the same thing. And no, the dynamics are completely different. In fact, if we want to preserve the natural populations, we need to develop production, aquaculture production. and there has to be a plan, but there has to be a space. There are some countries in the world that don't know where to put aquaculture. They have different rules for aquaculture in different states in the same country, and the investors don't know whether there is judicial certainty for investment because they don't see a plan by the government to develop the industry. So we need to recognize that we can have goals for environmental protection. We talk about 30% of the land or the world should be protected. Yeah, and we have areas for tourism, and we have areas for people living. Well, we also need areas for aquaculture development. We need to set them with a set of rules that prevents overregulation, which is basically causing a problem of lack of development in many countries that could be developing. That's overregulation because we are protecting or thinking we are protecting the environment because we do not understand the dynamics of the new technologies of aquaculture. That's where we're failing. We need to send a clearer message, give better information to the policymakers and say, no, you will not harm the environment provided you use these technologies, provided you have human resources that are trained. I'll give you a number. We need about 7 million more people involved in the sector to reach this 50, 60, 70% more feed by 2050. 7 million more people, because we cannot poach them from other industries. Or we need to train them. If we don't start now, we won't have that trained people. If you don't have trained people, you cannot use new technologies for that. So you say, are you optimistic? Yes, because we know we can do it. There are technologies, there are human resources, there are new students that are very keen on helping the environment do sustainable production in aquaculture, which is healthier, and it's going to give us better capabilities of reducing the problems in the health sector, reduce obesity, right? So we need to communicate this in a very easy way so that the society understands that aquaculture is not an enemy. It's an enabler of better times.